Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first ever video I'm recording, and my name is David, and I'll be taking you through my weekly analysis on the Forex markets. So come with me and then let's go through it. Um yeah. So mostly I like to do my weekly analysis on Sundays, right? So that I know what to expect within the week from Monday to Friday, right? Yeah. So on here I trade NASDAQ, I trade S&P 500, I trade BTC, gold, US oil, and lately I've been looking at USD JPY and then GBP USD. Yeah. So these are basically the pairs that I'll be analyzing for the week. Um, I would So let's take a look. Let's go to the monthly time frame. I like to always analyze the forex market right from the higher time frame so that I can be able to tell exactly what is happening in the lower time frame. Most people call it what's it called? Top-down analysis. Yeah. So from the monthly time frame, right, you can see here NASDAQ has been making significant highs. NASDAQ has been bullish on a bigger time frame, right? From the bigger perspective, NASDAQ has been bullish all throughout. Okay, so NASDAQ has been bullish all throughout, and that is when I drew these trend lines, right? So I drew this first trend line here, and then I drew another supporting trend line here, right? And you can see this is the first time we drew the trend line, and then the second time the market touched the trend line, and we are probably expecting the market touch the trend line for the third time before we rally up again, right? So let's come down to the 4-hour time frame, right? So in the 4-hour time frame, you can still see that NASDAQ. So so you see from the bigger perspective or the bigger picture, you can see that NASDAQ is bullish. NASDAQ has been trending higher and higher and higher, right? But when you come to the lower time frame, which is the 4-hour time frame, you can see an opposite story being told here, which is that NASDAQ is on a downtrend, as you can see, right? From February 25th of this year till now, NASDAQ has been trending downwards. So you ask yourself, how come in the bigger perspective, NASDAQ is running up, and then in the lower perspective, NASDAQ is running down? So then once you move back to the bigger perspective, you realize that there's something we call retracement, right? The market doesn't move in a straight line. You can see here that anytime market makes a significant higher high, right? So in this case, the market moved from here, point A to point B. After a significant move like this, the market needs to come down, right? To get enough momentum to push higher, as you can see here, right? So now the market has made another significant move to the upside. So it now needs to come down again, right? To make another, to gather another momentum before pushing higher. I just got a power, sorry. I think the person will just flash. Yeah, so as you can see, this is the story that the market is telling us, that for any significant move, it comes down to gather more momentum and then push higher. So all I can tell you here now is NASDAQ is coming down for a retracement and then to push higher, right? So all I'm going to do is, this is just telling me that when I go to the lower time frame and I'm seeing the market sell, right? I should expect that it is going to sell to a point, and mostly I'll be looking, once the market reaches this trend line, I should stop selling and be looking out for buy opportunities and be looking at the candlestick patterns to watch out for what buy opportunities, right? Yeah, so that's basically what I use the bigger time frame to determine how I'm going to go about all of these things. But if you were not looking at the bigger time frame, you don't think, oh, NASDAQ is selling, and you keep selling and selling, and once it gets to this point, it will start shooting up and you are still selling, and then you will be in the loss. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going back to the 4-hour time frame, right? And you can see here right? So this is our first touch of the trend line, right? This is the second touch of the trend line, right? And mostly how I do it or how I draw my trend lines is after market has touched the trend line, right? So let's say this previously, this was the second touch of the trend line, right? And then this was the third touch. Now that market has performed the third touch, right? I now adjust the trend line such a way that the third touch now becomes my second touch. And then I now look out for a next third touch. Okay. So that's what's happening. That is how come you see that this is marked as 2 instead of this, because the 2 has played out, and now I'm expecting what I've now adjusted the previous 3 to become my 2, and now this new one will be my 3. Yeah. So I'm always looking out for a first touch, a second touch, and then a third touch, right? And there's this philosophy that anytime the market touches the trend line for a third time, there is a massive move towards the direction of the trend, right? So I'll continue my analysis. You can see here NASDAQ has been respecting this trend line for a while, and we've come around the trend line, right? But we didn't really touch it, which is okay. I mean, you don't expect the market to play perfectly in like we see in textbooks. It will come around a trend line. It might not touch it perfectly. Just a little space between it, and that's fine. That's perfectly okay. So here we can see that the market made a high here, almost touching the trend line, came down, went back to make another high, almost touching the trend line, and we are now dropping, right? But I've been looking at this market for a while now, I think since last week or last 2 weeks, and it's been in this range from this 19,000 price, right, to this 18,000. The market has not really broken out of in either of um these lines, right? So for this week, I'll just be looking out for either the market to break out of 19,000. Then we know that okay, our sell is no longer valid and we are now expecting buys, or I'll expect the market to break below this 18,000 price, and then I'll know that okay, we are continuing our sell, right? Until then, I'll just be looking out for what the market is going to be doing, how it's going to play out, and when I get a break out of any of these ranges, I'll know what to do, right? Yeah. Okay, so basically that is my analysis for the week on NASDAQ, right? I'll just be waiting. My hands tells me the market is probably going to break below this level, 18,000, or it's also dependent on the news, right? Trump currently has imposed tariffs on most of the countries, and the day he issued a statement about the 90-day pause on the tariffs, we saw a significant move in the markets, right? So NASDAQ was basically selling until he imposed about 90-day tariff, and then the markets moved all the way from the downside all the way to this top, and then it's been consolidating for a while now, right? So I'm sure the market is just waiting to see how everything is going to play out, whether the 90-day tariff is going to be taken out, and then the tariffs will be imposed, or the whole tariff stuff is going to be scrapped. So, but I have a hunch that we are going to break below this level, and once we break below this level, then I'll go in for a sell and ride it all the way down from here, right, to here. Okay, so that's my analysis on NASDAQ for the week. And just to give you a heads up, right, once the market breaks below this level, then we sell, we get to this point, right? This is a major psychological level, 16,750, right? So I'm going to wait as well, see some more confirmations that we are still in a sell trend. Then I'll continue selling from that point onwards to touch this major trend line. Then I'll now be looking out for buys from here onwards, because you move to the bigger perspective, right? We know that once we touch this line, then we are now going back to what? Another major up push, right? So then once I touch this trend line, I will be looking out for what? Buys. Keep in mind, I'll be looking out for candlestick patterns and other confirmations to finally decide whether we are going for an uptrend or the sell is still in, right? So always keep in mind that for whatever we see, right, when the market gets to that price level, we still need to look out for what candlestick patterns, still need to look out for chart patterns, we still need to look out for extra confirmations to finally decide whether our trend is still valid or it has been invalidated, right? Yeah, so that's it on NASDAQ. That is my analysis on NASDAQ for the week. I'll go ahead and look at GBP USD, right? Let's take a look at GBP USD. So for that one, I'll also move towards the weekly time frame, right? And you can see here, and these red lines, right? These red horizontal lines you see here are mostly psychological levels that I have plotted out, right? To help me know that these are key points that when the market reaches, there's going to be some kind of reaction before the market either continues in the direction or reverses. So anytime the market reaches these price levels, I always close my trades or I move them to break even and then watch out for any reversal or continuation patterns before we proceed. Yeah. So you can see in that from the bigger picture, right? GBP USD has been moving within this box, right? From this price here, 2.6 to 1.1. GBP USD has been basically moving between this box. But then it's been moving slightly downwards, as you can see here. So right from here, it's been moving downwards all the way to this point, right? So as you can see here again, we touched it this time around and we touched it another third time. And it looks like the market wants another wave to go and touch it. But this is going to be a long time before we get to that point. So in the short term, right? In the short term, I see GBP USD going bullish, right? Because the market has come to touch this major support and then kicked out of it, right? So you can see this major support has held for a very long time, since 2016 all the way to 2025. This major support has held from 2016 to 2025. So this tells us that this support is very strong and valid, right? So once the markets enter this support, it skyrocketed all the way, right? So there, I'll switch to my 4-hour time frame, right? And then draw a trend line. So as you can see, I've drawn the trend line, right? So once market dipped into this region, the major supports, right? I drew my trend line from there onwards. So from here, then I drew it all the way here, right? So you can see the market dipped, touched the trend line, and made a significant high, and then touched the trend line again, and we are now making another significant high. I missed all these opportunities because all this while I've been focused on NASDAQ, gold, and BTC for a while, but I've decided to also look at GBP USD. So I missed this whole ride upwards, but then there's no problem because market always provides us with its opportunity. So as you can see, look at the current price level where the price is now for GBP USD 1.328, right? As you can see here, immediately I saw this, I knew that, okay, the market is going here, right? Because if you move to the H4, you would also notice, okay, let's go to weekly. You would also notice that this looks like a major resistance. So it looks like the market is going to touch that major resistance, and then we'll now look out for any reversal patterns, whether the market is going to reverse downwards, or any continuation patterns, whether the market is going to break above this resistance and continue pushing up higher, right? So with that said and done, I'm expecting the market to move from the current price level when the market opens tomorrow, from this current price level all the way towards 1.34, 1.345. That's what I'm expecting the market to do. So all I'll do is come here, right? So tomorrow, and you can see the market used this point as another support to push higher. So tomorrow, all I'll be looking out for is any small retracement, right? Any little retracement. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Any minor little retracement opportunities I'll get, right? I'll look out for minor retracement opportunities around here and then enter a buy. And yeah, so I'll probably look for some kind of minor retracement opportunities and then enter a buy with my stop loss around here, right? The low below the wick of the sell candle, right? And my take profits around 1.34. 1.34. Yeah, so tomorrow I'll just be looking for how the market is going to play out in this region. And then once I get a confirmation, I'll enter a buy with my stop loss here, my TP all above here. Yeah, so that's my analysis on GBP USD for today. Not for today, but for the week. I'll probably hold it straight for the entire week and see how it plays out. Hopefully it gets to my TP and then I'll close for the week. Yeah. And then let's go to USD JPY, right? USD JPY has also okay. USD JPY has also been on an uptrend, right? From here all the way, right? So you can see this is the first touch, second touch, and the market rallied all the way to the top. And it looks like the market wants to make what a third touch, right? So you can see the current market price is trading far away from what our original trend line. So then what do? We draw another trend line. We draw an inner trend line, right? Right here. So from this point, you draw a new inner trend line. And you can see that the market is coming to test this trend line. It has actually tested it. The market has actually touched the trend line, right? So all here, right? I'll scale down to the H4 4-hour time frame, and I'll be looking out for what candlestick patterns and other forms of confirmation to finally decide, right, if we are going up, right? Because keep in mind, when you come to the lower time frame, right, you can see that GBP USD has been selling, right, from when January 25th, GBP USD has been selling all the way, right? So all I'm expecting is the GBP USD has made a lower low, right? Touched this major trend line, and I'm expecting it to bounce back to touch this minor trend line before we drop further, right? So yeah, I'll just be looking out for confirmations tomorrow, looking out for confirmations. Probably if I get a double bottom here, around here, and then other kinds of confirmations, bullish continuation confirmations, right? Then I would now be looking out for what a buy opportunity here, probably somewhere around here, right? With my stop loss somewhere around here, and take profits all the way to the top, all the way to the top. Yeah. So this is what my analysis is for USD JPY. Okay. Yeah. I think we've spent enough time analyzing about 2 or 3, I think 3 pairs, right? So we'll take a break, and then in the next video that I'll be posting, I'll do more analysis on the other pairs. Yeah, thank you for watching this video with me up to the end, and do not subscribe, give me a like, and that would help me to record more videos for you. Have a nice day. Bye.